This is the virtual dream journal entry for November 19th, 2018. I've decided on the plan for the overall virtual reality rig in the near term till I can prepare the funding and know-how to build out the custom hardware necessary for an electrotactile display array in the near future. Linear resonant actuators will form the core of the haptic system for the virtual reality rig in 2022, unless that electro-haptics system manages to be figured out in time. The response time of less than 10 milliseconds is an ideal feature of linear resonant actuators, which is a very necessary trait for virtual reality. The impressive haptics of some modern smartphones and the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons leads me to believe that a dense array will be sufficient enough to provide haptic feedback of a high quality, particularly if the techniques Disney Research Labs demonstrated prove to be effective in order to make up for the small gaps that the array will have. I still need to do more research on how I will be setting up the controller for all these electrodes, seeing as the system will likely have hundreds of these motors by the time it's been constructed. Thankfully, these are fairly low-cost components, so I probably won't need more than a few $100s to cover the costs for this aspect of the design. With the hardware strategy finally coming together in a much more clear vision, it's time that the software aspect of things began to join in on the conversation. At the start of this project, the virtual reality scene was in its nascent stages, and consumer hardware was not yet available. At the current stages of development, however, things have matured greatly, and it seems unlikely that the work that has already been done would be upended at any point in the near future. This is a bit counterproductive to the design of the rig, though, since the current motion control paradigm of tracking objects in 3D space is fundamentally different from the intended output tracking that the virtual reality rig engages in. It'll be a hassle, but I'll probably have to make the rig conduct its logic independently of the VR APIs that we have now, and then fake the output into a 3D data value that can be understood, though I'm not too sure how they'll respond to the physics-defying potential that this system allows. After all, since the basis is only using intent, the output can be much more exaggerated relative to what the input was, so superhuman capabilities are not out of the question here, and I have a nagging suspicion that most of the current VR tracking algorithms aren't optimized for this kind of behavior. But I really shouldn't be assuming here. If people care enough to get into the virtual reality industry, I have a feeling that those very same people will likely care enough to think about this stuff too. Basically just means that if you're in here, you're probably a very big nerd. Nothing to be ashamed of, though. This was the virtual dream journal entry for November 19th, 2018.